If you're a fan of Bulgari Man in Black, but you want a better performing fragrance with a unique twist, BOTICÁRIO's MALBEC Black is the fragrance for you. Stick around and check this one out. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Scent Review. Tonight I'm going over MALBEC Black from the house of BOTICÁRIO. A relatively under the radar house, at least in the North American and European markets. The house is from Brazil, and this MALBEC line is really interesting because it's based on the concept of red wine, Malbec in particular. But the fragrances in this particular line actually use the alcohol from wine that had been aged in French oak barrels, giving, each member of this line a kind of boozy and very woody characteristic. Really interesting. This one here being my favorite from the line. Yeah, let's get right into this one. I'm gonna start with the box here, typical rectangular cube. It has the Portuguese description here on the side describing the fragrance here. Quanto mais os outros percebem quem você, mais atraente você se torna. I'm no expert, but I think that means the better people get to know you, the more attractive you become. And on the other side here, we have the ingredient list, we have the warnings. Apply to body as desired and keep out of reach of children. That's very good advice, because honestly this is a very mature scent and it would be pretty strange to smell a little kid going around wearing something like this. The bottle itself, very good quality bottle. So you can see the shape of it here is kind of like a triangular prism. Very hefty bottle. This is one of the heaviest bottles in my collection. There's real weight to it. It's got kind of like a rubberized, smooth outer perimeter. And the gold-plated top here, really classy looking, interesting. Bottle cap clicks into place pretty well, although the bottle is so heavy, I still wouldn't pick this up by the cap. The bottle itself has a matte black finish here, velvety smooth, really high quality bottle here. Now, judgment time. Excellent atomizer, by the way. Delicious. So here's what I detect in this fragrance. In the beginning, I get cardamom and cinnamon. In the mid, I get boozy notes and oak. And in the dry down, I get vanilla, sandalwood, and benzoin. So the initial spray is going to be just loaded with cardamom, a very warm spice, a little bit peppery, but more warm. And that is paired with some cinnamon, some sweet, earthy spice as well. That's going to provide additional warmth in the opening. Now in the mid here, I get boozy notes. So like I said earlier in this video, this fragrance line uses alcohol from wine that had been aged in French oak barrels. I don't know if I get like a straight up wine accord from this, but in general it's boozy. I don't know. It kind of like at some points reminds me of rum, at some points reminds me of whiskey, and there's a distinct woodiness coming from oak in this as well. The oak can kind of give off almost a little bit of a faintly smoky nuance. So the vanilla in this is there. It's not an overly sweet fragrance by any means. The vanilla is kept at a minimum, but what I really get the most of in the dry down here is that sandalwood. It's gonna be a really creamy, almost ambery, kind of sweet woodiness, soft, kind of powdery as well later on in the dry down. And that benzoin, beautiful, dusty, ambery benzoin, that's going to give it a little bit of like a dusty, maybe almost smoky characteristic as well. This is a phenomenal fragrance, and it is extremely under the radar, which is mind-boggling to me. If this was, a little bit more well-known, I'm sure that this fragrance would be flying off the shelves. So all in all, if I had to summarize this, it's a woody, spicy, slightly sweet, slightly boozy fragrance. Utter class, without taking itself too seriously, without going into unapproachable territory. It's very classy, but it's refined. It's not going to push anybody away. It has kind of a warmth and allure to it while just being powerfully elegant. So yeah, this does remind me a heck of a lot of Bulgari's Man in Black. There are some differences. This one here, MALBEC Black, is a little bit heavier on the boozy characteristics. There's a little bit more smoke in this one as well. I find the spices in this are turned up a little bit more compared to the Bulgari as well. And the sandalwood, there's a big dose of sandalwood in the dry down of this that, to my nose, is just absent from Bulgari's Man in Black. So definitely, this is a great, probably the best alternative, honestly, to Bulgari's Man in Black. This is a phenomenal fragrance. In my opinion, it takes that Bulgari Man in Black DNA and just amplifies almost every aspect of it, and then adds that beautiful sandalwood on top. Fabulous fragrance here from the house of BOTICÁRIO. In my opinion, it is the best from the house. Some of their other releases are a little bit hit and miss in terms of quality and performance, in my humble opinion. But this one here just totally blows every other offering out of the water from the house as far as I'm concerned. So just to touch a little bit on versatility, although it is mature, elegant, refined, very classy, it is still quite approachable. This is not an offensive fragrance at all. It's just very classy. This is something I would wear to a fancy occasion, definitely dressed up in a suit, going to a wedding, a banquet, something along those lines. This just oozes class and refinement. But at the same time, there's a sensuality and a complexity, a warm allure to this that kind of reminds me of, I don't know, being in a jazz club, listening to some jazz musicians playing their music. I don't know, that's kind of where my mind is going a little bit with this. But yeah, definitely leans mature, definitely not what I would consider to be a young man's fragrance. This is probably going to appeal more so to guys, you know, age 30 plus in general. I know there's always exceptions to that rule, but you know, that's my opinion on this. Honestly, I think you could get away with wearing this in any season. I might avoid it on the hottest of summer days, but you know, any other time, this fragrance is totally going to treat you. The performance, definitely better than Bulgari's Man in Black. I wouldn't call this a beast mode fragrance, but it has quite good performance. I get about 8 hours longevity on my skin. The projection is great for the first hour, maybe hour and a half, just a little bit shorter than an arm's length. So, you know, not a powerfully beast mode fragrance or anything like that, but definitely above average performance and considerably better than Bulgari's Man in Black. Something else about this fragrance is that it's priced very fairly, in my opinion. The 100 milliliter bottle in North America can be had right now for around $65 US. That's on fragrancenet.com. Here in Europe, it's far cheaper. It's actually around like 35, 40 euros the last time I checked. So really fair prices considering the quality and the great performance in this one. And especially if we look at the price compared to Bulgari's Man in Black, this just comes out more economical and it's a way better value in my opinion. So yeah, that's been my review of Malbec Black by BOTICÁRIO. Are you guys familiar with this house? I hadn't been up until fairly recently, honestly, but they're an interesting house, especially this particular offering. It's my favorite, in my opinion. It's the best. But what are your guys' opinions? Have you tried any fragrances from this house? Have you tried this one in particular? What are your thoughts? I love interacting with you guys. Anyway, I'm going to go out and get some tapas now. Until next time, keep it real.